I don't know
Luke
how
7:19, thou'th shall not haveth a vibratoreth.
I watched it. Scott did not want to do something today, and I was watching it go down. I was like, I wonder how he's going to get out of this.
Oh, I tried so hard.
But you can't stop it.
No.
This guy comes in the studio, and let me take my phone out of my bra. This guy comes in the studio.
Why don't you take a couple more things out while you're at it?
What else I got in there? Oh, I got a credit card.
Wait,
Bobby pin.
Hold on. Let me get something out of my bra, too.
So this guy he obviously really liked you and had met you before, and he reaches his hand out, and you hope for the
Coming
hand
in for it.
right? You hope for the handshake, and that's fine. Sometimes I don't want to shake everyone's hand, and he pulls Scott in for the hug, and I'm like, Scott is hating every second of this.
It was such a jarring man hug that my grip on my handshake, because, as a guy, you kind of pull the hand with you because you're not in a full embrace. You're in the, pat on the back kind of thing.
Right. That's what you wanted it to be, at least.
And it was such a jarring embrace. It actually jostled loose my hand from his handshake. So I come out like one of these handshakes. I'm like, look at me.
Like you're a dinosaur.
I swear.
Yeah.
It was just, I felt like I went limp with my hand after that.
What do you do with that hand? You just put it behind his back now.
Oh, I washed my hands right after they left. Oh, wait, what? Oh.
How long do you think the embrace was?
Oh, about 8 seconds too long. It was about 8 seconds.
I feel like it was oh my gosh, I hate when people hug and they're just not letting go. And although sometimes when there's like sad things, and this, I don't want this to be sad at all, but sometimes there's sad things. So of course you give somebody a longer embrace, and it gets to the point of, well, how long should I do this?
When can I break free?
Yes, because I'm wanting to comfort you. I'm giving you a little extra love. But yeah, what is do I count to 10?
That's a safe bet. And I say about 5, you start doing the, I'm ready to pull apart.
Have you ever been pulling away, and then that person brings you back in?
Oh, they bring you back in?
I'm like, no,
God.
Don't you read my body language couldn't even be louder.
Yeah, no, it's screaming.
Yes, yes. This hug is over.
Stop. Oh, God bless. Well, it's, we get from time to time, and I get it. We've been at this a long time doing the radio show, and, it's always an honor to be with people. It really is, because look, we've said this a million times. Here's the serious side to what I'm going to say. Then I'm going to be brutal.
Okay.
This is
his buffer.
Without the people, we're nothing. It's right. You guys, and we've been doing the radio show for over 17 years now together. So we've got a lot of people that have been around us over time, and they somehow. You get the special ones that just want to crack open the lid of their life story and every detail and everything else. And you really, we're in a timeline. We want to get done what we have to get done, and we want to be pleasant, but we got to move forward with stuff. And I loved what Allie did today.
What did
Allie had? Okay, so I got the warm embrace for far too many seconds.
Yeah.
I love when you start maneuvering yourself towards the door of the studio to be able to, kind of open it. That's when it's wrapped up. That's when time to go. Allie has moved towards the door.
Yep.
But nobody's ever observant enough until you finally open the door and you're like, well, we're backing up on this and this. Oh, well, one more thing. We're looking for clowns and we're going to have a duck parade. And we're like, oh, that's great. And we try. You try.
Well, the other thing about people, and I've said this on the show before, actually, there's two things. One, I'm surprised he hugged you, because if he's ever listened to the show, then he should know that is not something that you like doing.
And I knew it was coming because
I
he
did
was.
too.
Oh yeah, you saw he was maneuvered on the other side, sitting next to Allie. When we were doing this, we were doing an interview for an upcoming event. A beautiful charity event. Don't get me wrong. And
it's just the hug was the thing.
I knew when the stand up and the switching spots with the other person that was in the room, not Allie, the other person that was brought along for the interview.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even an inching closer. It was when the maneuvering happened, and she went towards the door by you, kind of started to get the hint.
She did.
And then all of a sudden, it was, whoa, right on me. It was like, whoa.
He just felt so connected to you and appreciative, and he loved you.
They're good people, and I mean that wholeheartedly, but it made for a funny moment.
There's two things that happen. Either they don't listen to the show enough to know that you don't like hugging, or like Scott and I only hug once a year at Christmas. That is it. No more hugging. And
I mean, once in a while, there's a little birthday one in there. Haven't we done that a couple times over the years?
Maybe a side birthday.
Yeah, but there's not a lot of embracing.
No. It was either that or you know how people think like I'm the exception. And I'm going to give you a great example. And then I want to come back to people telling everything.
Okay.
So my significant other will not spend the night at someone else's house. Now I'll go back to Cleveland and I will spend the night at my best friend's house, or I'll sleep on your living room floor tonight if I had to. It does not bother me.
You do sleep. You can't. Ooh, I better phrase that the right way. You do sleep anywhere makes it sound like you can fall asleep anywhere.
Yes, but my significant other, and I bet you so many people are like this too, because when I say this, people always go, yep, He does not like spending the night anywhere. And that includes my mom and dad's house. And my mom and dad would get so offended. Like, does Zach not like us? No, he just wants his own space, his own time. When he's ready to like just sit in his underwear in front of the TV, then
it's the freedom of what you want to do.
Exactly. Well, my aunt, she thinks she's the exception. She's like, oh no, Zach knows he can stay here and he'll be so comfortable. And it's me. And I want to be like, no, he will never stay here. I know that he likes you.
But he's going to be in a hotel.
But look, he will always be in a hotel.
Here's the reasons. I can stay at someone's house. Actually, I'm going to circle back to why I could stay at your parents' house in a minute. Not that I've ever gotten the invite, but
which is so funny. Oh, you would. My dad would love it if you stayed.
I think your mom too, and we'll come back to that in a minute.
Okay.
But I have to say, with the Zach argument on this, here's where I can understand it. I'm not 100% on board, but I'm about 80% on board. And the reason I say 80% on board is, you might blow up a bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
I had a night where I was in Charlotte years ago visiting friends that I hadn't seen in a long time. Mm-hmm. I had an explosive poop. I mean, it was like wall spackling, right? And then you're in the panic mode as it's happening and your bowels will not stop. There is no shutoff valve for what is happening. I mean, it literally is unreal. And you start looking and you're like, there's 4 squares of toilet paper. This job's never getting done.
Oh no, what'd you do?
Well, and then you pray. I used the 4 squares, and then not the app to let people know where I was.
Oh my God!
I'm in the shitter.
Blast from the past.
You're right. So I used the 4 squares, got enough that when I could stand up from the toilet, it wouldn't just drop out of my bunghole, the extra. Okay. And I started rifling through their bottom vanity. And because where would it be if it's a bathroom with a shower, a toilet, and a vanity?
Right.
You would pray to God it's not in the closet across the hall.
Right.
Who's going to do that?
Right. Where you have to be like, Jake, need some TP in here.
So, and nobody, you would not have wanted to walk in this bathroom. Like, I'm like searching for the fan switch, which was on a different, I'm like, I got to get this thing blowing at full speed. So I did find more TP and I finally managed to do it. But it was, so I get it. It was an embarrassing moment. I'm like, I'm really sorry. Whatever we ate at the restaurant decided to go, and it was really bad. So
it was really bad.
It was really bad. So I leave it at that with, I understand his reasoning along with wanting to be in your underwear when you want to be in your underwear. And, I don't know if I fart a lot when I sleep. So if you're up and I'm farting, but sleeping, I don't want to hear about it. Oh, that was joyous. I don't want to be up the next morning and here you go, boy, you really cooked some ass yesterday in your sleep.
Well, and that goes full circle. So I think this guy thought that he was the exception, that he got to hug you, that you guys had that bond that he thought that it could be.
He thought so.
And then going to the other thing about how I love hearing people's stories. Love. Sometimes it's like a time and place thing, but I'm going to tell you this is, and I've said this always, all of my friends always say this, that people tell me everything. So now we can officially talk about this more. So I bought a house and I've sold my house. Well, the person who's buying my house, they're getting the bank and the insurance and the appraisal and all this to come to my house, my old house. They're coming there and doing all of those things. So
boy, ain't that check going to be nice when this?
I can't wait.
Sorry.
So the appraisal guy came to the house and he was just talking about how many houses he can do in a day, and it was an interesting flex. And I was like, oh, cool. So I asked him if he was from here, and he said, well, I'm actually a little bit closer to Ithaca.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it just changed. And he's like, I'm actually from the Allegheny area. I was like, oh, okay.
All right.
And he had
an hour later, I'm really from Tioga.
and somehow weaved in, and I'll shorten it for you, weaved in how he met his wife at some sort of like camp thing in Allegheny County. He was basically like a park ranger. But they had
this wasn't like a kid's summer camp.
No, it was like a park ranger type program, and he met his wife there, so he's known his wife since basically they were in college. And I got the whole story, and I was like, this just goes to show. Now, did I find it very interesting?
Yeah.
Yes. But I got the whole kit and caboodle.
You got everything.
Yes, exactly. We do.
Did he give you a good appraisal?
You know, I haven't got it. I have not received that back yet.
I mean, I feel that you should get an extra boost of the value based on the fact that, you listen to a story.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I was hoping that was helping. I was like, oh my God. And then what happened? And then I also said this, and I don't know if this
then what happened?
Right.
I don't care. No.
So the other thing is when we were going through the house, I had a lot of boxes that were stacked up.
Yeah, you're getting ready to move.
Right. And I said to him, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. It's kind of a mess. And he's like, oh no, I get this all the time. No problem. But I definitely apologized for that, hoping that he could see past it and give me a decent appraisal.
So I know, are we taking a break for a quick second here?
We do got to take a break because I had texted Scott, I don't know, a couple days ago. And I said, I have a story for the podcast.
Yes. But before we tell that story, can I tell you, when we come back in just 30 seconds, can I tell you why I think your mom, I mean, I know your dad and we would nerd out all the whole time if I stayed at your house, but why I think your mom now is going to give me the invite. Can I tell you that really quick?
Yes, of course.
All right, we'll get to that in just a second. Hey, remember, like, share, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Let everybody know. We really appreciate that too. And the other areas you can find us as well.
Oh, Scott and Allie Show on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Threads.
And of course, don't forget on Spotify, you can watch us along with YouTube. I'm right there. I'm losing my mind, but we'll be back in 30 seconds.
Of course, you can go down the rabbit hole of looking at all the cute puppies and kitties at ChemungSPCA.org. But did you know there's other stuff that the Chemung SPCA does? Like, get tips and tricks at ChemungSPCA.org. Especially if you have a chewer in the family, your fur baby loves to jump up on you, or even get so excited they pull the leash too much. Have you ever heard of the Tooth Fairy Fund? One of the things you can do is donate to the Chemung County SPCA and help other families pay for teeth cleanings and extractions. And if you're down on your luck, there's the Pet Food Pantry. The Chemung County SPCA can provide you, your dog, or cat with a little food to help you through the tough times. So while you're at ChemungSPCA.org looking at the oodles and oodles of cuteness, check out their other services like spay and neuter clinics, affordable vaccination clinics, behavior problems, pet food pantry, tooth fairy service, end of life services, or even temporary boarding resources. Now go spoil a doggy or kitty, even if it's not your own.
Hey, we're back with the Scott and Allie Not For Air podcast. And we were starting to talk about Zach not wanting to spend nights other than at a hotel, and which I understood. I said I'm about 80% with him, but there are exceptions. After your mom and I, now for those that don't know, I have to share some backstory. So my relationship with the Holy Grail did not start on the best foot 17 years ago, because there was a situation, maybe for another podcast, there was a story or a situation, or maybe we told it on one of the early podcasts, of how we kind of pranked your mom, and it shut me out for almost a decade.
Which is so weird, because the prank was really funny.
It was great.
And I don't understand why she got so upset for so many years about that
Like
prank.
a decade. I was kind of a bastard.
The only thing that saved you was you came to my marathon at the finish line. And then I think I think were you the only one that showed up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Streets were empty. Nobody was at this marathon at the finish line. It was just me and her parents.
I was last. And I think that really gained a lot of respect in her mind.
We did. And over those years, we have, much improved the relationship. I have her in my phone now. I could text the Holy Grail at any given moment. Yeah.
How did that happen?
Well, I'll tell you in a minute. Okay. So, at any rate, this past Friday, I had sanded Allie's floors, and collectively we polyed them. You did the brunt of that work, but it was fun to show you to do it. And now you've seen it. Like, it's like passing on knowledge. It felt so good. I'm like, I bet you could do this. So,
yeah. I could do it again now.
Oh, for sure. So at any rate, where it changed for me, I think, to even a higher level of a bond with your mom, is I had to go get your mom. Allie played this perfectly. She was taking a ride in a Ferrari around Watkins Glen International, and I had to go pick up Gail at Allie's new house. We had to go get the sanders from the rental place and then come back, and I was going to start the process. So first Gail and I are texting back and forth.
Oh!
Hey, I'm on my way. Or do you want to meet at the new house? Yes, I'd love it. I helped her empty the car because
I did not know this.
Oh, yes. She brought a number of items over from your old house, so I helped her. I showed up while the doors were open, and I could see a little bit of the limp going on, a little bit of the wobble. And I'm like, oh, here, I got you, and I brought in a bunch of stuff. So
limp or the wobble.
Well, that's how I think I know I'm going to get the invite.
Okay.
The Holy Grail has reached the point. The discussion is going to be medically oriented from beginning to end. And as long as you can sit there and endure it, she will bake for you. She'll make you a lasagna. You just got to sit through it. So if you can mentally read a book in your mind and still make it appear that you're listening, and I did listen. I was engaging.
You probably listen more than I do, because she has told me the story multiple times. I really don't know what she had done to her foot.
Well, she had the surgery on her foot, but then
what
also...
surgery? Was it a bunion?
No, I believe it was... I don't remember now.
Exactly.
But then it moved from there to her standing up wrong, and she knew she stood up wrong because immediately when it happened, she had pulled something, I think, in her kind of back area or backside, her hip. It was her hip.
Okay.
And, and I told her, I said, well, but you didn't break it, right? She goes, oh, no. And meanwhile, she's being brave going up and down stairs and all that. And I'm trying to be like helpful to not, don't do as much. And, but, then of course the line comes out. Well, you know what they say.
What do they say?
Well, that's the classic line when someone's telling you the medical.
Yeah.
You know what they say? Sometimes a sprain or a pull or a, whatever. I think it was the tendons in her hip. I think that's what pulled. But the doctor did say.
You know more than I know.
They're going to heal up. It's just going to take time, but she's got to be careful at this point now and at this age and mobility. And she loves to walk. And she loves walking through the neighborhood, but she's got to be careful. By the way, she did that injury, and I don't know if you knew this or not, gardening for a neighbor. So the Holy Grail is really in it. Did you know this?
No.
Okay.
No,
so,
I'm getting bored already.
Yeah, but it gets better. So at that point, we make it over to the home depot because we had to get the polyurethane.
Yeah.
And she knows.
Scott's getting lost in his own story.
She knows the layout of her.
Or he's getting lost in Gail's story.
She knows the layout of her Home Depot so well.
I know.
That she has to tell Mark, your dad, exactly the aisle where to find things. And then we get down. She wanted to buy a gutter spout, for the bottom of the gutter because Mark mowed over it. I don't know if you knew it or not. Mark mowed over. Dude, this is the You were up at the track riding a Ferrari
at 150 miles per hour. Thank you.
I would have. I love your mom. I really do. And you caught when I left that night. I said, "I love you, girls." Did you catch that?
I did. I did.
I didn't get the "I love you" back from Gail. You, yes. But you know,
we hugged. We hugged.
Oh, we did.
We hugged that night.
That was a big night because obviously you had seen that we put a lot of effort in. So I think that was, I think both of us knew. Whew, we're almost at the home stretch. Bring it in.
Right. So does that mean that we are not going to hug at Christmas?
No, I'll let you know.
Okay.
So I went through this for quite some time. And then I was able to hand her off to Danielle. And it kind of continued.
Imagine 7 days of this, Scott. And this is the story, the perfect lead in. First of all, Danielle, my one girlfriend that came over. Sorry, I keep shaking my camera.
Sorry, I can see your whole face now.
My friend that came over, I said, I'm so sorry that I'm not getting to spend any time with you because I have to go and get this sander and blah, blah, blah. And Danielle said, oh no, I came to hang out with your mom. I'm like, ooh, thank goodness.
Thank goodness. Yeah.
Because those stories, I can't with these stories. These like weird flexes of knowing where everything is in her Home Depot and everything. Now,
some of it was kind of, I'll take it like this. Like, I could see where after 7 days it's a touch much, but I didn't mind, Let me
shift to the good stuff.
Okay.
So the reason why, or one of the reasons that my mom was supposed to be coming in was to hopefully clean out the cabinets and line the cabinets.
Yes.
Well, we threw a wrench in there when Scott said we should sand your floor, and then that brings up a lot of dust. But even when I was doing
By the way, props to Gail. She did do a lot of helpful cleanup after the sanding part was done. I know she got very involved. I want to make sure that's clear in case she watches.
Yes, but at the same time, while I was doing the polyurethane, I thought that's when she was going to wipe down the cabinets and do that so I could do the painting and all that stuff. But she didn't. So I'm not saying that she didn't do anything. That's not what I'm saying. She didn't do the things that I wanted her to do. And me and my mom have very, I would say, stringent mother-daughter roles in our relationship. And it's very hard for me to tell her what to do, even though I need her to do certain things. But for some reason, I'm 40 years old and I can't tell her, I need you to clean the cabinets. I need you to fix the gas line. I need you, or whatever, because she's in town to help me with these things. No. Do you want to know what she did?
What'd she do?
She did the thing, and I knew she was going to do this, and I'm so about it. So I started taking my clothes from my old house to my new house. At the bottom of my closet, the bottom, underneath a bunch of T-shirts, is what I like to call my toy box.
Oh, my God.
Oh, you can't even make this shit up.
Oh, my God.
There is no reason for her to clean anything in my closet at all. So in the bottom of the toy box, on the left, the toy box is like the lid's kind of open because
Well, you gotta get to stuff when you gotta get to stuff.
Exactly. So okay, whatever. It's open. Which, by the way,
oh no,
I gotta throw my own detour, my own story. So at my significant other's house, there might be a toy box, right? That is very pretty and it doesn't look like a toy box. Well, I don't live at my...
What does the one in your bedroom look like? A trash can?
Just wait. No. I don't live at my old house very much. And my significant other doesn't come to my old house very much because I was Airbnb-ing it so much. So there's really not a use for the toy box that often. So I have an old 1980s piece of Tupperware. Do you remember the Tupperware where it was the red, really hard lids?
Yes.
That you would get from the Tupperware parties?
Yes.
So that's what
Ziplock's never been able to master the recreation of that.
So that's what I was using. And believe me, I did not bring in like cookies to the office with the same Tupperware. But anyway,
would you like a chocolate dick cookie?
I was very specific on making sure to keep that down there with those shirts hanging. Everything else was removed from my closet. I come home and not only is the toy box moved, so she's moved all the shirts up. Why move all the shirts up?
I don't know.
I don't know either. So she moved all the shirts up. Then she moved the toy box from the bottom left floor to the top right or middle right shelf in the closet. And not only that, because I told you that the toys were like kind of poking out. And then she had the lid closed, which means she touched my toys.
Oh my God. Well, okay, now I got to ask, were they organized from small to large by the time you got to,
No. But I'm like, was she wearing gloves? Did she just like shake them in the Tupperware so they like shake down in there? And so she could put oh my God, I was livid. Especially
was there any mention whatsoever?
Well, I'm so glad you asked.
Yes.
So then my mom was just telling me, because the reason why she was kind of stuck at my house because Zach had to get his car worked on. And so we were shifting cars. Zach was using my mom's car. My car was at work. So my mom was stuck in my old house by herself, left her own devices. I didn't think that she would do this. So there was plenty of other things to clean and organize, but no, Gail had to go in the closet. So anyway, when I pick her up to do some of the house stuff, she's telling me, oh yeah, and I organized your closet, which I had already saw that she did. And I was like, in my mind, a little mad.
Sure.
And
trying to show your appreciation while being fuming mad.
Right. And embarrassed.
Yep.
So then she goes, oh yeah, so I cleaned the closet and I put the clothes up here and then I moved your roller skates and wanted to go
Keeping it innocent.
Right. But she kept on mentioning it and listing off things that she had done with the cleaning of the closet. And I'm like,
she couldn't say the dildo device.
No, but I think she wanted to, but I kept cutting her off. I'm like, okay, Mom, I'm glad you did that stuff. Thank you. Now, what are we going to do next? What's our next project? Like I said, we're very mother-daughter roles. I mean, not that we're not friends, but I don't talk about shaky toys with my mother.
There are people that can be that open. There are people that would prefer to keep that lid closed on the Tupperware container.
Exactly. I am not that person at all. I just can't. I just can't. And here's what I told Zach. And, if this ever gets back to my mom, which is fine. But I said to him, it's hard for me to dole out responsibilities to not only my own mother, who I'm used to her doling out responsibilities to me.
Sure, it's a weird role reversal.
Right. But she gave Zach and I a monetary gift for the house.
Yeah, very nice.
For that, I could not also tell her what to do.
You had your limits. Look, I want you to keep this entire story that you've told, though, in perspective.
Why?
Okay?
I mean, what can I learn from this?
Well,
except for to hide my toys.
Okay, yes, but with the toys, you have to remember something. I mean, from what I've heard, every woman has something, at least one. So you got to think. There is now a different kind of a bond between you and your mom because she's got one, I'm sure.
No, and I don't know, and I don't want.
His name's not Mark.
I don't know, and I don't want to know. So,
no, but now you do. But now it's there. The seed is planted.
No, because my parents are two things: very religious and very sexual.
Well, just because you're religious doesn't mean you can't have that's not in the Bible.
I don't know. I don't know.
Luke 7:19, thou shall not haveth a vibratoreth. You want to end there? Much love till next week.
Okay, wait, next week I have to tell you the story about the milkshake. Remind me.
You didn't?
No. Bye.